So, first off, who are you? I guess where do you come from and what exactly do you do for the people who don't know you?
Yeah, I'm Cori Maass. It's pronounced Moss in case anyone's been reading it Mass this whole time. Just want to clear that up. Very important to me that it's said correctly. I'm from originally a town called Thousand Oaks, and it's a suburb like north of LA, like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour north, depending on traffic. You know how it goes here. And yeah, so I'm an artist. I live in LA now, and it kind of sums it up in a
Yeah.
way.
So for me, and I sent you the questions before, but your style is quite unique and for me, very much recognizable to your
Yeah.
own. How did you begin painting? And then the style that you have developed now, was that something that just kind of came out when you first started, or was that gradually developed?
I think about it a lot. I didn't think I was an artist until I became an artist. That I
Mm-hmm.
know that sounds weird, but I had been doing design, and I think if I look back, kind of more minimal design was what I was like really interested in back then. And so naturally my art kind of flowed to the more minimal. But I started doing single line drawings just because I was really interested in them, and I just always personally liked it. And then I got the iPad, which changed my life. So I was just drawing all the time. And then I would study. I don't have a huge art history knowledge, even though I am now taking classes since we're in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
But I would look at like an artist called like Cy Twombly, or I'd look at even Picasso back in the day, or I can't think of any more right now. But there was like a bunch that I would just study and kind of look at. So I think there was influences there, but then I just kind of everything I do, I think ultimately just reflects how I see balance or how I see something. So even if I were to look at a photograph I take, I'm like, I can understand where it's all coming. I can see very similar patterns throughout even a poem. You know, they all kind of have the same thread or an essence, I guess.
Yeah, and then I
I
guess
know what
this
that
kind of
is.
this connects with it, but when you first started, did you ever consider it to be something that you would do as a job, or was it more of just like a passion project?
Um, I have been working for myself for a really long time. So I think my career progression has just kind of been adapting to what I'm doing and how it's working. But to answer your question more directly, no, I don't think I saw it being a job at first at all, because how do you make money doing art if you don't know how to be an artist? I think is like
Yeah, no, absolutely.
um it was, and I think when people started kind of responding really well, especially when it was under Coral Monday. If you've been here for a second, you knew that we used to be the username. And once I saw people like asking me, hey, can I buy a print or can I do something? Again, I had to learn for myself that I was an artist first. So it took
Hmm.
me a long time to even tell my friends that I was doing it or to show anyone. Like that's why I have a separate account as like personal and business, because initially it was really just like, I want to put it here, but I'm so shy and I don't think I'm good enough. And um but then I just saw that actually I have a place here. And I kind of took what I knew from design and from marketing and just created the business of art around it.
Yeah, awesome. I like that. Yeah, and that's true. You don't know how to do a job or be an artist if you're not one already and how to make
Yeah,
a job out of it. So yeah.
I had to learn a
Um
lot. Yeah.
literally. So you've done multiple brand partnerships with
Mhm.
and mural pieces with Free People's, Strange Bird Beauty, Baldwin, and then different stores within Atlanta and LA. How was it working with brands as a whole? And what was and is your creative process when tackling projects like this?
So with brands, I think number one, if I was giving advice, I would just say like know what they want um first, and kind of ask as many questions at the beginning of the project so that we're both on the same page. It's different with every
Mm-hmm.
brand. I think it's like addressing every single like point. I mean, you talk about the finance of the project, you talk about like the goals, what I can do, what I need team members to do. But I'll just like maybe talk about one specifically to kind of break it down. Um, So, which one do I want to talk about? Like, so Baldwin, for example, with them it was awesome because there we did some shirts, we did an article, and then we did an event. So what I have to ask first, and this is just because I did design, is like, okay, how can I merge my style with your style? I'm not designing as like your in-house designer or your in-house artist. So most of the time they're like a collaboration piece.
Mm-hmm.
So they want it, people are coming to me for what I'm bringing. I'm not just necessarily putting something up for them entirely, but it does have to match their vibe. So usually I'll present a few concepts. I'll kind of digest it all, present a few concepts that I think I would be happy with all of them, like all three of them. Especially if it's a mural, I get so anxious about them because I want it to be something I'm really proud of.
Mm.
So I'll usually show them like three concepts and then get feedback, edit as appropriate, and it depends on every client, and then just kind of go from there. But if I'm also giving, if you're in a business position, I would say use something called a work scope proposal. Hi to the people waving. Use something called a work scope proposal so that your clients and you have very clear understandings of what's happening and what you're delivering. And so there's no question, and they know exactly. Like with art, it can be hard to create to show why you're charging what you're charging and to show what it takes. Like I don't know if like design, I know you do photography, people don't understand like, oh, can't you just like take your camera out and take
Yeah.
this photo for me? And
Yeah.
you don't realize that it's like, hey, actually I have to get, if you're doing a style shoot, it's like I have to get a stylist, I have to get a model, I have to get makeup, I have to get hair, I have to find locations, that's 2 days of prep, I have to now do this. So it's kind of communicating to your client why you're doing what you're doing, how you're doing it to a level of degree, and then what they can expect with what the finances are within the project, I guess.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't
Because
know if
that's
that makes sense. I'm trying to
no,
like
yeah,
talk about it in a
yeah,
broad sense.
absolutely. Because I was gonna say like some of my favorites that I had found like off your website and stuff was the Brother Motto or Moto one.
Moto, yeah, he's that's a was a coffee shop in Atlanta.
Yeah, and then the other one was the Lately Kitchen, and I
Yeah, that one's
noticed like
awesome.
from being in those stores and like doing murals, you had kind of mentioned it, but did it feel like just another day creating, or did you feel more pressure in the sense that, it is somewhere and you have some people watching you do it and everything?
I I'm always stressed beforehand. I tell my friends unless I've thought about a project and worked on it, I usually say I hate everything for about 2 weeks until I like it. It just really
Yeah.
depends on what it is. I mean, my anxiety is way more managed now, but I have anxiety, so it's like I can just spiral. But I think it's kind of part of the process, and I'm used to it now.
Hmm.
Especially now that I've had so much positive feedback overall, I'm not
Yeah.
feeling like my heart is just out here in the open as it was in the past. But I do feel like every time I kind of level up, I panic again, and I take everything so seriously. So with a mural project, the hardest part is beforehand, is the communication, the like figuring it out, and that's when I'll be having like stomach aches and like freaking out because I'm just making all those decisions. But by the time
Yeah.
I'm there doing it, I'm usually pretty confident, and I could do that all day, every day. Like I love painting, and usually I'll have an assistant, or we'll like play, like the mural for lately. We were blasting Avril Lavigne. I had two friends help me, and it was fun. And because literally I started drawing before even when I was so nervous, I would be doing the blind contours, which is really scary because you're drawing someone but you're not looking at them and people are all watching. So that kind of trained me to just not really freak out.